And Ken, whenever you're ready.
Well, Tony, how good is it to get back after about almost a month off, and you guys went into the break on a with a win? So, I mean, how good is it to get back and have some rebuild that momentum?
Yeah, I think we were able to take about 3 weeks off, get ourselves refreshed, ready to go for the second half push here. So I think we came back in good skating shape. We had some good practices already. So we want to try and build off the momentum we had there at the end of last semester and before break, and kind of take that into the start of this week here with QPAC Princeton coming into town.
Maren?
Yeah, I think the break really allows us to allow our bodies to recover and kind of get a mental break from the demand of the season. So I think coming in, we're all excited to get back into it, and the energy at practice so far has been really great.
And Emma?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been said it's always good to go home and see the family and whatnot, but I was excited to come back and I know everybody else was, so I think that's exciting and I'm excited for the weekend.
You guys have four straight at home starting Friday. So, how important, Tony, is it to be able to have four straight home games to start the second half of the year and maybe build some momentum with getting some victories?
Yeah, I think one thing is I think we can't look too far ahead. We got to just take it game by game here. We're going to be seeing top 15 opponents every game pretty much for about a month, it seems like. So, we can't look too far ahead. We just got to make sure we're taking care of the game that's in front of us. So taking care of QPAC this Friday is going to be our goal. Get ready for them and then move on to Princeton from there. But I think it's a good way to start out the semester. If we can garner a couple wins right away, it'll get us a little bit more solidified in the standings and help us moving forward into that first half or that second half push.
Emma, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree from like Tony said, taking it game by game from experience, this next weekend's going to be a tough one and from experience the next weekend after that's going to be a tough one. So I think just taking that game by game and taking it practice by practice as well, I think we'll have success.
Maren?
I think having games at home is a advantage for us coming back off the break of not having to deal with the strain of travel. And so I think we're trying to build as much confidence as we can going into first the QPAC Princeton weekend, and then we'll build from there.
Tony, just could you talk about how your assessment of where this team kind of is after the first half of the season? Obviously, a tick above 500 in conference play, and you guys are right in the thick of the race in the standings.
Yeah, I think we've always talked about trying to build throughout the year. Start of the year, I think we can all agree that we let some games get away from us that we look back on now that we're like, all right, we should have had those. But, we use those as learning and kind of jumped off of those to give us the record that we have right now and our play in the ECAC. At the end of the day, you want to make sure you're winning games within your league. So I think we've done a pretty good job of that so far. Taking some games from people I think people didn't think we would be able to do that for us. So, moving forward, I think we just got to do a little bit of the same. I think we're gonna not surprise some teams anymore. I think now that we had that first half that we did and where we are in the standings, I think teams will be a little bit more prepared and ready and maybe not take us lightly. So we've got to be ready for that to happen. And going to every game knowing that, hey, we're going to get everybody's best game now.
Yeah, and then Mary, just if you could talk about how good you guys feel from a player's standpoint, coming back from this break and where you guys are positioned in the standings.
I think it gives us a lot of confidence knowing how we grew from the beginning of the season to where we were right at the end of break. And I think we allowed ourselves to have a little bit of learning and kind of learning how to mesh with the new coaching staff. And so I think once we started working together really well, I think you saw the results that we had during that first season, half of the season. And so I think we just want to keep improving, keep allowing for growth on our team so that we can perform even better than we did during the first half.
Maren and Emma, last couple of years, the second half of the season has been tough for your team. You guys faded down the stretch. Cost you a playoff spot 2 years ago, and you guys ended up 11th last year. What do you got to do to avoid that? Collapse might be a strong word, but just how do you have to maintain the way you play in the first half into the second half this year, starting Maren?
Yeah, I think that's definitely been a weakness for us in the past couple seasons, but I think going into the break this season, we had a very outlined goal for how we wanted to keep improving over the break individually and stay in contact with each other so that we can kind of hold each other accountable for how we're training over the break. And so I think that will allow us to have success in the second half.
Emma?
Yeah, I agree. I think we just gotta keep the foot on the gas and keep pushing forward. I think in the past we kind of just let off a little bit. Maybe there was some burnout there, but I think with the way we are going, I think everyone's headspace is in the right mindset. So I think just continuing to go and continuing to push and get better.
Tony, man, from a distance when you were at Clarkson, did you notice anything different about a Union team in the second half of the year, and what can you do to make sure that doesn't happen?
To be honest, I was more worried about what we were doing.
Understand, yeah.
Really didn't notice too much. But looking back at, the records and things like that, from past years, you can definitely see that something, happened in those times, but, we're taking it a little bit differently this year. Again, we're of the mindset of building every week. We want to worry about how we're playing and where we're at, and not about, potentially like, oh, is somebody else going to try and help us out? We're under the control of what we can control. So we've got to really, push that. Our players understand that their focus is on that. So I think that would be the difference is, hey, we're just going to worry about what we're doing. And, that's all you can control from there.
Everybody pretty healthy at this point?
Everybody's pretty healthy. Knock on wood.
Yeah, Tony, just one more quick question. Just what are some of the concerns you come back from a long layoff like you guys had, from a coach's perspective? What are, some of the concerns and maybe some of the kinks that you guys will have to work out this first weekend?
Yeah, I think it's just like any other team. You get into like that first period, you're playing against somebody. Yeah, we can do scrimmages and things like that. But getting back just into competing against somebody who's not yourself is always, something you got to kind of work through. But, I'm really happy. Again, Maren brought it up. Our girls did a great job over the course of the break of staying in shape. Our coaching staff was out recruiting, so I was texting them. They were asking about practices, and I thought our practices, we had good pace, we had good compete coming back, which is great to see. We sometimes you see a little bit of the rust, or you see a little bit of the slow stuff there, but I think we were ahead of what even I might have been expecting right away. So yeah, it's good to see.
Any other questions for Tony or Emma or Maren?
I'm good, thanks.
All right, perfect. Thank you all for joining us today. And if I don't see you, good luck this weekend.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks for setting this up, Dominique and Mary.
Of course. Tommy, Ken, do you need anything else?
No, just if you send the video along, I have to see if I can use it for video purposes for our paper if you have your permission to do that.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean,
Okay.
it's a Zoom call. I don't mind.